Hi everyone, welcome to our first session of our Lent course, the Merciful Humility of God. 3-minute video looking at the first chapter of Jane's wonderful book called River and Wilderness. So in the book, Jane suggests that Lent's not really primarily about giving things up, but really about finding ourselves, the basis of ourselves. But it can feel a bit like a journey of giving things up, because on the way we can realise just how little the foundations that we think we need bear the weight of what God sees in us through Jesus. So if we look at Jesus' time of discerning on the foundations of his life, and we look particularly in Mark chapter 1 verse 11, he comes into, first of all, an overwhelming affirmation. Mark says the heavens are ripped open as God the Spirit and God the Son tear apart the boundary between heaven and earth to reach out to the Son in love. And the Father says, "You are my Son, the beloved. With you I'm well pleased." And then the temptations, Jesus is propelled immediately by the Spirit into the wilderness. And it's as if the devil in the temptations is trying to undermine that simple affirmation of the basis of Jesus' life. He tries to persuade Jesus almost that the love of God is a sort of possession that Jesus can use for his own ends or needs to earn by what he does. And he says, if you are the Son of God, prove it. We've heard this before. There's something the devil has used in Genesis, and it's a strategy to lure people from that basis of their self-identity, that it is in God's belovedness. And in one of the temptations, Jesus is taken up to a high mountain, and the devil almost says, I can trade the world, and he says he owns it. I can use all this as a possession to achieve my end, which is that you give me some due. But that's not the way Jesus sees the world. He's clear, with the Father's love ringing in his ears in the baptism, that the world is a place where love is freely given and where God's power is merciful freedom from this commodities of making commodities of other people and sort of having to earn our place ourselves. So in the wilderness, Jesus firmly chooses to give the task of his self-definition to his Father. Under all circumstances, he decides he will be just what God says he is, the beloved Son, wanting and needing nothing else. And so that's a place of reflection for us. We too are beloved of God. And God sort of waits patiently while we try to work out if that's enough. And we can put aside other self-definitions, although they may seem to have more basis to them or maybe be more dependable, and hold on to the fact that we are who God makes us to be in his belovedness. If we're brave enough to let God tell us who we are, then we are always the beloved ones, and alongside others who are equally beloved. So maybe a suggestion this Lent is to start every day by hearing God say to you, "You are my beloved."